All right, now we are going to finish this section. And when we talk about the end of year wrap-ups, most of the time, we just need to make sure that we are sticking with our annual calendar. Okay, now, when it comes to these two areas, this is where we find a lot of goofs, stress, mismanagement of time, and things of that nature. So you have the ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act, and then you have your specific benefits programs. So with the ACA, and you got to remember, this thing was over 20,000 pages when it was signed in by, politicians who most of them didn't even read a quarter of it. So there is a lot that is built into that program, and your attorneys, have to ensure that you are following these guidelines. So before we get into the error, we have to remember that we need to be in compliance with the Internal Revenue Code, and those sections were what 6055 and 6056. So reporting for a calendar year, regardless of the plan year, has to be in place. You have to remember to determine your status. Are you an ALE or not? And that is, are you an applicable large employer? Okay, and for that, you need to file the forms 1094 and 1095. This is the error because these are simply late. So what you need to do is go back and ask the manager or whoever you have put in charge of this, what is the status of those two forms? What's the preparation status? And that's all you need to know, sometimes to light a fire under them a little bit, or to get them to actually admit to you that, hey, we are not on time, I'm stressing, pop, 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 pop. So go back, ask your folks for the preparation status on the 1094Cs and 1095Cs. That way you're going to be able to find out, are we on time, or are we in line with our planned out annual calendar, or are we behind, and what do we have to do to get this project caught up? Next, we have your benefits programs, and these are going to be very specific to you. So let's look at the carryovers. We have to ensure that our end of year carryovers of PTO, make sure all that information's in the system, make sure it's accurate. And if you're not doing the carryover program, make sure that you pay out your employees for their PTO. Okay, now obviously this is going to depend on your company's specific policies, but make sure that it's done on time. All right, so now we need to ask ourselves, how do we compare to other companies? Are we competitive? Is our benefits program competitive with other companies in the same industry that we are in? This is important because potential applicants, I should say applicants or potential employees, are definitely going to be looking at this. So when you ask your manager, are we competitive for this year, and are we going to be competitive throughout the next year or two? They're going to give you an answer, either yes or no. If they say yes, man, I'm glad to hear that. Can you tell me why? What did you find out? Or if they say no, okay, excellent. At least we're aware of this. Tell me why. What did you find out? And then after all of that, let's say you have to up your game a little bit, say, all right, what do we need to do in order to be more competitive within our industry? So you want to take these two situations here, and that being the ACA or your benefits program, and when you're checking up on people, you want to make sure that they don't feel like they're being micromanaged. You want them to feel like you're checking in case they need a hand with anything. And that should be the overbearing feeling. That's what we are there to do. So we go up to the supervisor, say, hey, what's the status on preparing the forms at 94 and 95? Do you need any help? Are we on time? Are we on time as far as the annual calendar is concerned? If they say no, say, okay, I'm glad I'm aware. What do you think we're going to need to get ourselves back into compliance with our calendar? So we're always trying to be proactive, but we always need to be aware.